Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainyl Hamny and my ID number 2014050040. I'm from TBI-B and I can explain about my material and it is about the good language learners. For the first, what is good language learners? The good language learners, or GLL, studies are a group of academic studies in the area of second language acquisition that deals with the strategies that good language learners exhibit. It was true that if the strategies of successful learners could be found, then that knowledge could help learners who were not getting such good results. One of the earliest researchers in this field, Rubin, at 1975, at page 43, provided a very broad definition of learning strategies as the technique quiz or device which a learner may use to acquire knowledge. And I believe good language learners are capable of learning without a teacher guidance. But when a teacher is available, they can use her as a resource and benefit from the relationship. In my opinion, with motivation, encouragement, and support, anyone can learn to be a. The second is the characteristic the good language learners. And then characteristic of Lightbone and Spada as good language learners, 1997. Number 1, a good learner is one who likes to quiz and be accurate. So it means that the average good language learners likes to quiz and quiz accurately. For example, when we listen to an unknown foreign language, it means that a language learner will guess what the meaning of the sentence he hears is. Number 2, good learners are willing to make mistakes. This is meaning a good language learner is one who learns from his mistake, and it don't matter if he makes mistakes when learning a language. For example, we mispronounce the foreign language or misinterpret it. It's okay from mistakes that a good language learner learns. And number 3, good learners try to communicate even without language. That is, if we are not fluent in a foreign language, then a good language learner will try to keep communicating even without the language. He can use sign language as a method of communication. And number 4, good learners look for patterns. It means a good learner is always looking for the right learning patterns for him, how to learn a foreign language to be fun for him. And number 5, good learners practice whenever possible. The reason is someone becomes proficient because he often learns and repeats what he learns. A good language learner will often practice to improve his language skills, even if only from simple sentences such as greeting, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, what are other everyday sentences. And number 6, good learners analyze their own speech. So a language learner must be able to analyze his own speech or writing to find out the extent of his ability to speak. And number 7, good learners pay attention to their own standards. As a good learners, we must pay attention to our achievement standards. For example, today I have to be able to master greeting sentence. Tomorrow I have to master grammar. That is the standard that must be achieved for a good language learner that he has set for himself. And number 8, good learners enjoy grammar. So a lot of language learners complain that they find it difficult in the grammar session. Because as good language learners, we have to make ourselves comfortable and happy with learning grammar. And number 9, good learners start learning in childhood. I agree with this because myself have also started learning foreign language since childhood, and that is very helpful because when we are small, our brains are easier to learn something new and remember it for a long time. And number 10, good learners have an above average IQ. Yes, people who master more than one language are people who have a high IQ. So that makes it easy for them to learn many new languages. 11. Good learners have good academic abilities. A good language learners will have good academic skills because usually people who are able to speak to more language are smart people. And the last, good learners have good self-image and self-confidence. And the last, good learners have good self-image and self-confidence. A good language learners will definitely have self-confidence because when using a new language, of course, we need confidence. So, someone who learns a good language must have self-confidence. This will really help us to be more fluent when pronouncing the language. And the last is example from the good language learners. Despite the possibility of making a mistake. While having self-confidence is not an essential requirement initially, it is directly related to being willing to make mistakes and take risks. Students who are able to convince themselves that mistakes are not horrific, that not horrific things, and that nothing bad will happen to them. Quickly build up their confidence that helps them to answer questions in class, to take more risks, and to enjoy the experience more. And for example, Ali and Abdullah are a perfect example of this. They answer questions readily, accept feedback when they make errors, and then use the corrected language in their journals in order to learn from their errors. Their vocabulary has increased dramatically. They also both attempt to engage people outside of the school in dialogue and frequently report on what they have learned about the community and in their journals and in the class.